A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Safeco Field, and the Mariners have taken the field. So we're about set to go. Game one of this three-game series. Three-night games here in Seattle before the A's head back home. Game time weather for tonight. It's presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May 27th. 62 degrees. It's a nice night. A little cool, but very comfortable. See the blue skies overhead with a few clouds, but we're not expecting any rain, anything like that. In fact, it's supposed to be pretty decent weather all 3 days here in Seattle. Let's look at the lineup tonight for your Oakland A's. It starts with Coco Crisp. He's in left field. Billy Burns is in center. Stephen Vogt is your catcher hitting third. Then Valencia in the cleanup spot. Davis will DH. Alonso at first. Simeon at short. Coughlin at second. And Smolinski is in right field.
And it will be Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Mariners. He pitched once back in early April against the Athletics and picked up a no decision. A's did win the game. Of course, they swept the Mariners in the three-game series, but he went 6 innings with 7 hits, a couple of runs. Did give up a home run to Josh Reddick, but of course, Josh, some good news, I guess, today. No surgery needed on his fractured thumb. So look forward to getting Red back in the lineup, hopefully sooner than later.
So Walker's ready, and the first pitch of the game is a fastball swing and a miss by Coco Crisp.
And that is the pitch that he needs to be working. If his fastball is working, everything else works off of that, which a lot of pitchers talk about that. But for Taijuan Walker in particular, his fastball will be low to mid-90s.
And a quick 0-2 to Crisp. Coco hitting .236 with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. One of those 3 home runs came against the Seattle Mariners. And Walker kicks, and the 0-2 pitch is fouled straight back. A shift on for Coco Crisp. There it is. Shift on the infield one way, shift in the outfield the other way.
And with 2 strikes, usually Coco just sits back, doesn't stride, and usually goes to the opposite field. If he gets it on the ground, it should be a base hit.
Lifts that one down the left field line, foul. Burns to follow, and then Vogt.
4 pitches, 4 fastballs from Taijuan Walker.
Two pitch, off speed, and Coco just got a piece of it. A's come in with a 19-26 record, a difficult 4-game series against the Yankees. A's just could not get much going offensively. They're 11-11 on the road. And this is just a road trip of 3 games. Shallow left, and it'll fall.
Aoki broke back.
Yes, he did. So Coco opens up the ball game with a bloop single. And let's look at the defense for the Seattle Mariners tonight. Nori Aoki is in left field. Leonis Martin in center. Franklin Gutierrez in right. And then on the infield, it's Seager, Taylor, Cano, and Lee. Daeho Lee. And the catcher is Chris Iannetta.
We mentioned yesterday, Ketel Marte on the disabled list.
There he is.
Thumb injury. Sliding into second base head first is not good.
You know, it is not a broken thumb. It's a sprained thumb. So the Mariners hoping that he will not need to be out longer than the mandatory 15 days.
The A's won't miss seeing him.
No, he's
the way he plays against the A's.
He's an all-star player against the A's.
You kept watching Aoki break back on Coco Crisp baseball. Normally you see a center fielder doing that. Very rare a corner outfielder. But Aoki did and helped the ball drop in front of him.
This is the slide by Ketel Marte.
Well, there's the head first slide, and watch the left thumb. Actually got caught underneath, and yep, shaking it, and that was it on the disabled list.
And it looks like a fairly innocent slide, but we've said it 100 times. That bag is very hard.
It doesn't move. It's hard and it won't move. You're right. And that's the biggest thing, because unlike the old breakaways that they called way back when, but they are in a pole down into the ground, and a lot of times an infielder, or if he knows the guy's going to be sliding head first, he'll put his knee down. And you saw the second baseman and shortstop do that with Cincinnati on Saturday. But they also like to slide in with the fingertips going up, trying to hit the bag with the palm of their hands. But when you're going in head first, it's a close play. And that's why Coco is wearing protection on his left hand, keep it from happening like that. He broke his hand a few years ago playing the Giants in the exhibition. The final exhibition game, stealing a base in San Francisco.
1-2 to Burns. You see a lot of, and granted, you just saw Reddick, you see a lot of finger injuries due to the head first slide. Whether you agree with the head first slide or not, I don't think you can disagree with the fact that there are a lot of injuries when you slide head first.
Joe Girardi was telling me that Gregorius, the shortstop for his Yankees, has a tough time sliding head first into the bag. So he wants him to dive into swimming pools because that will help him. And I'm thinking, why not teach him to slide feet first?
Let him be.
That's
right. If he wants to slide feet first,
yeah,
let him be.
Well, we used to have the old sliding pads you'd put on and slide in spring training, which is always a lot of fun.
So Billy Burns waves at a pitch, and he strikes out for the first out.
Well, this is the Ichiro type swing. Just try to swing, slap it someplace, but it went off speed. And with the movement by Billy Burns, he could not reach the outside part of the plate, considering his momentum was heading to first base.
1 out, and here's Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt hitting right at 250. He's got 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Knocked in 3 yesterday. His first multi-RBI game this season. Stephen's probably a little frustrated with his RBI total. On deck is Danny Valencia. Close pitch. I think Walker thought it was a strike, and I think Chris Iannetta thought it was a strike. Lance Barrett did not.
Hold it, throw it back.
So Lance Barrett, Dan Iasonia, Dale Scott, and Bob Davidson. That's the umpiring crew for this series.
Hey, when you say Bob Davidson's name last, that means he's not behind the plate.
Nope.
He will end up at first base on Wednesday night, but the rotation, Balk and Bob will stay on the bases, which he'll call a balk regardless of where he's positioned.
He's dangerous at third. Coco with a huge jump. Iannetta's throw is light. Coco, he took a couple of quick steps, and then he took off, and Walker did not look that way. So a stolen base for Coco, Chris.
Well, unlike yesterday, Stephen Vogt took a couple of pitches when Billy Burns stole second and then third. This time he took a pitch that was off speed down, and Taylor taking the throw in front of the bag, or it's actually foot on the bag with a quick tag, but Coco had the throw beaten easily. Stolen on the pitcher.
2-1 the count to Vogt. And Vogt pops it up. Cano comes in onto the dirt, and he has got it. Here's our true story brought to you by McDonald's. A's last visit here, which was the first week of the season. Coco Chris steals base number 300 in his career. Came in the very first inning. He is now one of 9 active players with 300 or more stolen bases.
That was a great shot of him sliding because the fingers on the left hand were up as he slid into the bag with the palm, grabbing the bag, so he did not take the chance of damaging his fingers.
Here's Valencia, and the ball scoots under the glove of Iannetta, and that will allow Coco to go to third. See what the ruling is.
Well, he tried to backhand the ball. Looked like he was fooled. Actually, it looked like he wanted to throw to second, but maybe thinking about that, although, well, it didn't hit the ground that much.
So now Coco at third. One-0 pitch to Valencia is on the outside corner, 95 miles an hour from Taijuan Walker. Valencia 6 home runs, 15 RBIs. Cooled off a little bit in that Yankee series. He was 2 for 15 with 6 strikeouts.
Well, they questioned the first strike, questions this strike. And probably should get used to that higher one, because that's one of the new rules they want to implement in the game starting 17, the higher strike.
Broken bat bouncer right back to Walker. He'll underhand to first, side retired. So Coco Crisp is stranded at third, and the A's do not score in the top of the first. Square off against the left-hander Rich Hill, and the lineup that Hill will face looks like this: Martin in center, Gutierrez in right, then Cano, Cruz, Lee, and Seager in the middle, the heart of the order. Chris Iannetta, Nori Aoki, and batting ninth is Chris Taylor, who was just called up to take Marte's spot.
Now Rich Hill, another start on the road. 5 of those 6 wins have come away from the Coliseum. Picked up a win in his last start against the Rangers. Matter of fact, the last time the A's won on the 18th of this month of May. 0-4 against the Yankees. So Rich Hill trying to duplicate what he did against the Mariners back on April the 9th. And he picked up the win, 5-1 victory, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts in the game.
And he faces Leonis Martin. First pitch, Martin loves to bunt, shows bunt, and takes a ball. When we last saw the Mariners, Martin was struggling offensively.
And he was hitting ninth.
Yeah, and with his poor year last year offensively, had to be some concern, but he has gotten very hot to the point where he's now batting leadoff. Leonis Martin. He's got 11 hits in his last 20 at bats. Average up over 250 now, and he's got 8 home runs. In the hole, Simeon throws, not in time. So Martin just put it in play, and he's got himself an infield hit. So defensively, this is how the A's line up, with Chris, Burns, and Smolinski in the outfield. Valencia, Simeon, Coughlin, Alonso on the infield, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher. Here's Franklin Gutierrez. Gutierrez hitting right at 200, couple of home runs. That one almost got by Stephen Vogt.
I guess Gutierrez over the weekend hit a pretty long shot.
Yeah, what was the number?
473,
470 something. The Mariners swept the Reds in Cincinnati over the weekend. The Reds really struggling. Overall, the Mariners are 26-17. They're having a very nice start to the season. They have a game-and-a-half lead over the Rangers in the AL West. They have won 4 in a row. And that 26-17 record for Seattle is the 3rd best record in the American League behind Baltimore and Boston. So, good start for Scott Service. What they're really doing is playing great on the road. They have the best road record in the major leagues. They're 18-7 on the road, but just 8-10 at home.
Edgar Martinez drive right outside Safeco Field. He is the hitting coach, and there are the numbers at home, 8-10. And I'm sure they feel like coming back home, considering their success on the road, that's going to carry over and into their home park. They know they have to play well at home.
I think it's hard to play poor at home the whole year.
I agree 100%.
Especially if you're a good team.
Yeah.
Then at some point you're going to start winning more consistently at home. But first quarter of this season, the road has been very good to the Seattle Mariners. This one is skied foul territory. Looks like Alonso's going to have room, and he does.
Thought he was going to hit that airplane that was flying over.
Yeah, that's right. He's ready. That's a good A's fan. He's out in the party deck out in center field, which not quite as crowded tonight as it usually is.
I want to know with that mustache how he has a beverage. He's got it lined up there on the table.
I bet there's some contraption where it moves or lifts up or something. Because generally the beverage is more important than the mustache.
That's right.
I mean, if you're out in the party deck, it makes sense.
So he probably was told he was on air so he could take the mustache off and start.
Yeah, right after he pulled the camera off him. Here's Robinson Cano. Cano having a very nice season. 288 with 12 home runs and 39 runs batted in. That RBI total is best in the American League. David Ortiz has 37. Batista has 34. See if the A's can turn 2. Simeon to first, and they do. 4-6-3 double play, and that will do it for the Mariners in the first inning. No score after 1 from Safeco.
For Rich Hill, continue his dominance on the road for sure, and of course a good first inning for him with a double play to end the inning. And of course the better offense would be much needed for the Athletics after collecting only 24 hits total in the last 4 games against the Yankees. 6 hits in each of those 4. Of course Billy Burns should have had a hit later, but it was called an error. But still, not scoring a lot of runs, not a lot of hits, and maybe can break out on the road against a pretty good team, the Mariners.
Chris Davis back in the lineup. That's good to see. He's DHing today. He'll be followed by Alonso and Simeon. Yeah, just 24 hits and just 9 runs scored in that 4-game set.
You're averaging just a little over 2 runs a game. That's not going to win a lot.
No. And just the 182 batting average. Good news. He will not face Felix Hernandez in this series.
Yeah, it's. I mean, nothing against Taijuan Walker and Nate Carnes and Sashi Iwakuma, but King Felix, it's good that he can observe these 3 games.
Fastball 95 miles an hour, and that's the 2nd strikeout.
Chris Davis injured his right forearm, actually, maybe on the throw, but also swinging and trying to hold up his swing, and felt a little bit. He said it's like a cramp in his right forearm. And so Bob Melvin opted to say, better be safe than sorry, don't push it, and took him out of the game. So in the game tonight as a DH after just pinch hitting over the weekend.
Here's Alonso. Alonso goes after the first pitch, fouls it into the sweet level here at Safeco Field.
Captain, as I mentioned about the fastball of Taijuan Walker, we have seen of the 25 pitches, just a few changeups and curveballs, mostly fastballs. So he is using his big frame with a good fastball to throw it consistently.
And he's got 41 strikeouts in 42 innings coming into tonight's start. So just about a strikeout per inning, and that's pretty darn good. So he'll use that fastball a lot because it is a good one.
And I think there are times that hitters with the scattering report, and they know that he throws a lot of fastballs. There's no reason to wait. You might as well gear it up and just say, all right, I'm going to just off of the fastball. If he's going to throw it, I'm going to be ready to hit it. So far, the fastballs have been hit the opposite direction.
Just a touch inside, 2-2 to count. Hit hard, but right there is Chris Taylor. So that ball on a normal shift is a base hit to center field. But the Mariners had the shift on, and Taylor was right there. So 2 outs. And that'll bring up Marcus Simeon. So Simeon steps in hitting .221. He's got 10 homers. He's got 20 RBIs. 10 homers has him tied for 8th in the American League. .32 hits on the year, couple of doubles. He got a couple of home runs against the Mariners this year.
Yeah, and Marcus should do well against Taijuan Walker because he can handle a fastball. He really doesn't try to swing too hard. It doesn't a changeup.
Yeah. So a good fastball changeup combination. Right there on the outside corner. Simeon knew it. So good inning for Taijuan Walker. Couple of strikeouts. Bottom of the 2nd coming up. It'll be Cruz, Lee, and Seager. No score. Brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. Bottom of the second, the A's and the Mariners are scoreless. Third series of the year between these two teams. And the season series is tied 3-3. In fact, road sweeps by both teams. Remember, the A's came in here the first week of the season, swept the Mariners, and then the Mariners came to Oakland and returned the favor.
And the one game that Felix Hernandez pitched, he scored 8 runs in the game, lost 9-8.
That's right.
As Manaea left with an 8-4 lead, and the bullpen could not hang on, and Mariners completed the sweep.
Tapped in the hole. Simeon across the diamond and not in time.
Well, Bob Melvin's going to take a look at it, and you see the reaction of Alonso at first base. I don't know, and the umpire did not indicate that he's pulled off the bag. Simeon tried to hurry after getting a good grip, and it was bang bang. And
I don't think they're going to look at it.
No. Yeah, too close, actually. Big man runs quite well considering, and the ball into the hole. Smelled a hit and beat it out.
So second inning in a row that the Mariners have had their leadoff man aboard, and here's Dae-Ho Lee. First pitch is a strike. Now, these two teams after this series will not see each other until the middle of August.
That's
yeah. August 12th, 13th, and 14th in Oakland.
And the A's will see the Mariners in the final 4 games of the regular season here.
That's right. Just like last year.
Yep.
A's have seen enough of Dae-Ho Lee, and it's only later May. He's got 3 hits against the A's this year. All 3 of them are home runs.
Well, that Wednesday game, it was Manaea who started, and Dae-Ho Lee started the game. And when the A's went to the bullpen and brought in right-handers, they kept him in there and hit a couple of home runs, one to right center and one to left field. And actually, the game winner was by Dae-Ho Lee.
1-2 to the big first baseman was Seager to follow. Shoots that one to right field.
Well, this was the unfortunate one because this was with a runner on base. The Mariners trailing by a run down the left field line, and that put them ahead 9-8, and that was enough to win it. He also hit one to right center off. I think it was Ryan Dull hit one to right center off him.
Soft line drive just over the glove of Coghlan, and Cruz is going to have to hustle to second. He had to wait to make sure Coghlan didn't catch it. So 2 on and nobody out.
Well, the thing about Lee, he puts a big body. I mean, he has a huge swing, lifts the leg, and you know, you just try to play or pitch him accordingly. And you know, there's a case again, Cap, we talk about it often, where a second baseman is positioned to turn a double play. He's playing shallow and close to the bag, and all those things contributed to the ball just barely over the head of Coghlan. If he's back at the grass, it's an out, but he had to play close to second. Turns into a base hit.
And here's Seager. Seager, shallow left center, and Coco dives. He can't get it, and the bases will be loaded. Now, I can't say there's been a real hard hit ball in this inning, but the Mariners have the bases loaded.
And Seager, who, as we have talked about before, a very good hitter against left-handers, and you know, you got speed in center, speed in right or left, and right for that matter. I mean, good speed in the outfield, but it was in no man's land in left center. Of course, a big outfield here, Safeco Field, and very quickly he's in trouble. Rich Hill, who the only run allowed back on the 9th of April was to this man, Chris Iannetta, in a solo home run.
First pitch to Mariners catcher is a bit high. Overall, Iannetta 222 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Runners in scoring position against Rich Hill. The average 225 this year. Certainly one of the reasons that he has the 7th best ERA in the American League. He's also 8th in the league in strikeouts, and he could use a couple right now.
Yeah. I just wonder how much the Mariners, we talked about it in our pregame with the guys back in the studio, that how much will they be sitting on his curveball? Houston Astros did, and they've been sitting right there, and he got a fastball down the middle. So that's the beauty of Stephen Vogt catching Rich Hill every start, and knowing, as he did against Tampa Bay, mixing in the fastballs, guys were taking them down the middle.
So now Hill ahead of Iannetta. Aoki to follow. With a fastball well inside.
Well, this is the only run that he gave up, and it was a slider, a hanger that was hit very hard by Chris Iannetta into left center field.
6 innings, 5 hits, and that 1 run in that outing. Swing and a miss on a curveball, and Vogt hung on. So there's 1 big strikeout.
The fastball that he took for strike 2, then missed with another fastball, might have helped with this one, because the big sweeping curveball, and Rich Hill, boy, it's been outstanding pitch for him. And again, Iannetta can't believe he missed it, but he did. And now the A's can hope that Aoki, who was tough to double up, can maybe be another strikeout victim.
The man from Uncle, that's a good one. Highest curveball percentage. And of course, the nickname for the curveball, Ray?
Right. Uncle Charlie.
Oh, yeah. So 0-1 to Aoki.
And Uncle Charlie sent a lot of players back home. They signed professionally, and they say, I can't hit the Uncle Charlie. I'll be home soon.
That one tapped up the first base line. Alonso will come home and get the out there. 2 outs. Alonso just took his time, did not rush. He knew he had time.
But we have talked about the great thing about Alonso. Well, so many great things. Defensively, he can pick it, but just watch this easy throw. Backhand, a perfect throw to Stephen Vogt. No chance for a double play. Catches the ball, gets out of the way. So Alonso, very, very good around the bag at first base, and he continues to shine, throwing it or catching the ball from the infielders. And now 2 big outs, and the biggest out to get, the 9th place hitter.
And that would be Chris Taylor. Taylor taking over for Ketel Marte.
And he didn't face Rich Hill back in April. He hasn't faced him. So Marte, who had won the shortstop job, of course, he played there last year and did a good job. And Chris Taylor had struggled in the spring and didn't make the team.
That's that curveball, big swing, and it's 0-2.
But if you have not seen Rich Hill and you see Uncle Charlie coming, that's usually the result. And now Rich ahead 0-2, taking a little walk back behind the mound. And I think this is where a pitcher knows the 2 biggest outs have already been recorded. The biggest is the 3rd one to get out of the inning.
Stephen Vogt asked for timeout. See Hill pitching off the way off to the 3rd base side of the rubber. He's about as far to that side as you can go. And a fastball, and he struck him out. What a job by Rich Hill. So the Mariners have the bases loaded, nobody out, and they do not score, and we are scoreless after 2.
ballpark, log on to athletics.com/tickets and use the coupon code DAD, D-A-D, to receive $10 off field level tickets to see the A's take on their AL West rivals, the Los Angeles Angels. Discounted Father's Day tickets are subject to availability, so make plans right now to treat Dad to an afternoon of baseball on Sunday, June the 19th. We'll be there, Kite.
Can't wait.
Jack will be there saying, Happy Father's
Happy Father's
Day,
Day. He better be.
That was a Space Needle. Hey, 3-dog night. He'll be there again, right?
Oh, yeah. Second inning. Chris Coghlan leading it off. Coghlan, Smolinski, and Chris. Third inning. Rich Hill worked a little magic.
Oh, did he?
In fairness to Rich Hill, the balls really were not hit very hard. But the Mariners loaded the bases, nobody out, but he got out of it.
And the Mariners had to be thinking, boy, we're coming off a successful road trip, and boy, the magic continues tonight. They're going to get 3 hits, and all of them softly hit. But then Rich Hill striking out 2. Great job.
Coghlan swings and misses. Walker using that fastball tonight, 95 miles an hour, and it does have a little late movement. That ball runs away from Coghlan.
Well, this is the 8th of the 9 hitters facing. We'll see what happens with Iannetta and Walker going through the second time. But talking about a pitcher establishing the fastball, and he continues.
So 4 strikeouts for Walker.
Time now for the forward right choice. How about Rich Hill in this game? Second inning, 3 on base, nobody out. He gets Chris Iannetta, the big curveball for 1 strikeout. Then a little weak ground ball by Aoki. Nice force at the plate. And then another strikeout. Taylor, what a great inning for the lefty Rich Hill, who continues to dominate and throw strikes and get strikeouts.
So 9th place hitter Jake Smolinski steps in. Smolinski 1 for 9 so far this year. Swing and a miss. Does have an RBI. Had 3 homers and 15 RBIs in 39 games for Nashville.
It's called a picket fence. Those ones. And you really don't like those picket fences, man.
No.
You know, if it's a scoreboard, you see the line score, you want to see crooked numbers. Those ones, while they are good, they need to be doubles.
2-2 the count to Smolinski. Walker, as he always does, wears those pant legs up high, showing the stripes and the socks. And another fastball, and it is an easy 96 miles an hour. And Walker has 5 strikeouts so far.
Well, just another fastball, like you said, and it is easy. Threw the changeup to Burns in the first inning. Other than that, he's dealt the fastball, stayed with it.
Well, the young man has a bright future. He's only 23 years old. He's been a highly touted prospect for about 4 years now, and a decent year last year. But when it's all said and done, we'll probably be sick of seeing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to be good for a while.
Between he and Felix.
Yeah. Leonis Martin jogs in, and it's going to be a good inning for Taijuan Walker. A couple of strikeouts. Bottom of the 3rd coming up, and it will be the top of the order for Seattle. Coverage is airing right now on CSN Plus. CSN Plus can be found on Comcast channels 105 and High Def channel 780, DirecTV channel 698-1, AT&T channel 768 and 1768. If you can't find CSN Plus, log on to csncalifornia.com or call your local cable provider. Sharkies win tonight, 5-3. So they lead the series now 3-2. See, that young man just saw the Sharks score. He's an A's fan. So game 6, Wednesday night in San Jose, and the Sharks with a win go to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history. So good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck to the Sharkies. That was quite a game tonight. They were going at it.
Well, you know who's really had is Brad Ziegler, formerly the A's, now with the Diamondbacks. He's a big Sharks fan.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was.
Not a Coyotes fan?
He was talking about the Sharks and how happy he is. They've been playing so well.
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
With what's going on with the Sharks and the Warriors. Warriors
That's right.
Now all of a sudden got their hands full. One-two pitch to Leonis Martin, curve, and it was just a touch inside.
Well, watching Lance Barrett again, very important for Rich Hill because of his curveball. But Barrett is holding steady. He's not really calling it too soon. Veteran umpire, and so far seems to be handling the big sweeping curveball by Rich Hill.
Past Alonso and into right field, and Martin is 2 for 2. Right back into the stretch for Rich Hill.
But it went with a 2-2 fastball and looked like Martin was waiting for it, got it, and even Alonso and his great defensive first baseman couldn't get it.
So third straight inning. The leadoff man is aboard for the Mariners, and here's Gutierrez. Gutierrez fouled out to first. Runner goes, and it is fouled toward the dugout. Don't know if that was maybe a hit and run, although just watching Martin, it looked like it was a straight steal.
Yeah, he got a great job.
Yeah, he did.
Kind of went on first move, and it was Coughlin covering, so the late swing by Gutierrez, had he put the ball on play, probably would have found the hole on the right side. Accidentally, maybe just because it was late, maybe looking curveball.
We've also talked about that situation before, Ray, and if it was not a hit and run, I mean, you should let the guy try to steal.
That's right.
And obviously, if you're standing in the box, you can't tell whether he got a good jump or not.
What you can tell as a right-handed hitter that if he's going with the green light, probably feels like he did get a good jump. So
let him
go.
try to steal.
Exactly. That's a good point, because left-handed hitter, the guy has a green light, he doesn't know if he's running or not. But a right-handed hitter, you can definitely see out of your peripheral vision that it's taken off, and especially first pitch of the at-bat.
Martin's got a big lead, and that one's tapped towards Simeon. He's going to flip to Coughlin, and that's a double play. Second double play of the night for the Athletics.
Well, between big strikeouts and double plays, Rich Hill is dealing. Another curveball, perfectly hit, and just, I mean, Simeon actually could have taken it himself, but Coughlin with a strong arm, nice feed from Simeon, the completed double play, and of course good hands at first by Alonso on a throw that was a little bit low.
So now 2 outs, bases empty. Here's Cano. Cano hit into a 4-6-3 double play, his first at bat. So Robinson Cano, his third year here in Seattle. Settling in with the Mariners. His contract runs through 2023. Last year, I think He didn't say a lot, but first half he was injured and really just could not get going. Look at the numbers last year. Through 43 games, he had a homer and 11 RBIs.
Health will mean a lot, and of course, I'm sure he felt last year when he was injured he wanted to play because they'd given him a long-term contract. And I mean, you give him a lot of credit playing through injuries, and his numbers were not exactly where he wanted them. The club wanted them. Matter of fact, there were some people saying that he said, which he never said, that he wanted to go back to the Yankees. But he said, I want to be here with the Mariners.
That's a shot past a diving Simeon for a hit. 6 hits now for the Mariners.
As far as Rich Hill's concerned, they're getting the hits at the right time. He stayed on the breaking ball. And Rich Hill immediately looking back to see where his defense was because he thought he had somebody there. Simeon was. This is how hard the ball was hit. A step and a dive and still was past him. Hit that hard by Robinson Cano.
Well, Rich Hill just can't get out of the stretch. Now he'll face Nelson Cruz, who had a base hit in the second inning.
By the way, Cap, you think if Robinson Cano and Adrian Beltre were on the same team, talk about fun.
They would have fun.
I mean, both of them enjoy the game. They're great players. But by the way you look at them, you say they're having a good time playing the game. Which is good. It's what it should be.
I always think, too, if they weren't as great of players as they are, would they still be having as much fun?
No.
Probably not.
But
they're sort of special, but they seem to know that, but yet don't take themselves too serious. And listen, there's some players who take themselves pretty serious. We're finding that out this year.
Exactly. But really, that all translates into, you know, you look at the success translate is money's a byproduct of success.
Sure.
And having a good time. I mean, you sign a 10-year contract, you should have fun playing the game.
And you know you're a good player,
exactly.
So you're going to enjoy it. Beltre's the same way. Strike 3 called, and Hill gets Cruz looking. So he's got 3 strikeouts. Another runner stranded for the Mariners. 4th inning coming up. No score. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's check out what's coming up for the A's in Seattle, and then right back home. We get a home off day, which is always nice. The Tigers will be in town for the weekend, then the Twins, and then on Thursday we will travel to Houston, and that will be the road trip that starts in Houston and then goes to Milwaukee, which Ray is excited about, and then finishes in Cincinnati. Houston, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati is your road trip. So A's were home for 7, now here in Seattle for 3, and right back home.
But you're going to be happy. Going to be on the farm, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
In fact, the Monday off day in Milwaukee is my dad's birthday. He'll be 91,
great.
so I'll get to celebrate 91st birthday with my dad, which is kind of fun.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. And he's probably watching right now.
So happy early birthday, Mr. Kuiper.
This is a tough night for him, though. He's got one of those A's Giants double headers that are on at the same time. But the channels are right next to each other, so he can flip back.
Well, they can go picture in picture, too.
That's right. Well, don't
get too complicated.
Let's just go back and forth.
Yeah, you go put one and go last and back and forth.
Yeah,
that's
right.
good.
Let's just do that. One away, and here's Vogt.
So your birthday, nobody knew about it last Friday, and then your dad's coming up. Nobody knows about his either.
No. Although now that Ray knows, everybody's going to know.
Oh, that's good to have an off day and spend it on the farm. That'd be great. That's a good. You don't have to send a present. Just say, "Here I am, Dad."
That's right.
You know, this is it. This is your present.
Dad, you need anything?
I decided to come here on the off day and spend time with you.
I told MLB.
That's right.
And I wanted an off day in Milwaukee.
And Cincinnati? Are you going to stay there,
I'm going to stay, yeah. I'll meet you guys in Cincinnati.
What a life.
Cincinnati's a nice town. I just don't need to get there. Little pop-up. Seager will hustle over, and he's not going to get it.
Well, that's a high fastball. That's very difficult. And, of course, Stephen Vogt knows as a catcher catching Sean Doolittle. See, a little bit elevated. All you can do is get under it, and you hope it goes foul, which it did. Coliseum, it's an out, but here, checking the seats and definitely going in there. But you're right, Seager way over to shortstop position.
2-2 pitch to Vogt. Vogt hits one high in the air. And Martin was shaded in left center, and he's right there to make the catch.
Well, 3 consecutive strikeouts, 3 consecutive fly balls to center field. So, Taijuan Walker and his fastball, and you know, catcher can notice how hitters are swinging at a particular pitch. And the old saying goes, why speed up their bat when they're not getting around on the fastball? And Chris Iannetta, and I'm sure Taijuan Walker going with him, stand with a heater. There's another one to right field.
So it looks like the A's are just not getting to that fastball. So just 1 hit for the A's through 4 innings against Taijuan Walker. Are back, and this Friday the Tigers will be in town. You get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an authentic A's prize, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher. It's all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is CSN's Authentic Fan Friday. Always a fun night at the Coliseum. Tigers will be in town. But the A's got some business here in Seattle before then. It's the bottom of the 4th. No score. The A's offense has been quiet. The Mariners have had base runners all over, but Rich Hill has tighten it up when he needed to.
Well, the Mariners came up with that good new song called Day-O.
Day-O Lee. It fits. They kept it around.
Yeah.
Lee had a base hit in the second inning, hit a soft line drive just over the head of Chris Coughlin.
That same ball right now is an out because nobody's on base. And again, you know, we always talk about a runner at first base, double play situation. See where the infielders are right now. They start pinching closer to second base because where they're positioned now, if a ground ball is hit, they cannot get to second to turn it up a play.
That one hit high in the air to right center, but playable. And Smolinski grabs it, so 1 away. So for the first time tonight, the leadoff man is not on for the Mariners.
Day-O Lee, I mean, just like when he hit his first major league home run, his first hit, left center against the A's. He is a big young man.
He is big, yeah.
And you know, he lifts that front foot, and he probably gets about 250 pounds in his swing. And when he connects, and that's why the fans ooh and ah every time the ball's in the air, because they figure he's got the power to send it out. 6 times this year he's done it.
First saw him in spring training in a game against the A's. There's Seager, who takes a strike, 0-1. Seager takes outside.
Well, Rich Hillen's last start against the Rangers at the Coliseum. The series finale when the A's swept the Rangers, and he was pulling a little El Tiante. He's pausing, turning sideways, doing all kinds of different things to kind of mess up the Rangers. Did a good job doing it.
A little bit high. 2-1 to Seager. Shift is on, and Seager waits, and he takes a strike. Seager may have thought that was a little high.
I think he was just fooled, Kai, but yeah, it's a strike. You better swing at it. It's really, that's Bear's strike zone has been low and towards the high part as well. So he'll be ready for the new adjusted strike zone starting next year, according to what this is. And we were talking about the intentional walk being no longer in existence. I guess that's one of the two.
Yep.
The lower strike or the higher strike above the knees, and then no intentional walks as far as throwing the pitches. Just let the guy go to first. I hope personally that one doesn't become a new rule, because that's not going to speed up the game. 4 pitches to a hitter when there's a possibility of a wild pitch or something happening with the intentional walk. 4 pitches. There are a lot of other ways to speed up the game if you want to. And usually the guy behind the plate is the one that can do it, calling strikes. Make it a hitter swing the bat.
Tapped over the mound off a hill. Simeon is there. He throws wide, and he's called safe. Alonso says, nope, I got him.
Yeah, and
so we'll see.
Well, he's saying he missed him, and that's what the Dan Iasonia said. Throws off line.
He did miss him.
Well, I guess unless he got his hand, which I don't think they're going to look. Trying to decide.
Or the left elbow, maybe, but Alonso seemed pretty adamant that he got him, but those replays. Oh, watch the left elbow. Nope.
Well, they're going to take a look at it, and it almost like a reluctant.
What about there?
Right,
yeah,
right there.
I think he did. He got him on the elbow forearm.
If they can see that, as we just did, they're showing up, because you're right. Alonso's not going to be that adamant about it.
No, you would not. Yeah. No, that would not make any sense. And he was pretty adamant.
Now, he would know if there was error.
But it's the kind of the forearm elbow area, and they're showing it on the board. And the thing what's interesting is it's the early part of the replay,
there,
like right there.
There. Yeah, that's where he got it.
But it's not that last swipe. So they called them out. So they saw what we saw. Obviously, they got more angles than we do. But
that go off the glove of Hill, 1-6-3, and I tell you, you want to see your first baseman react the way Alonso did. Right there, he felt he got him.
Well, he got him in the jersey as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's a continuation. So what the fans are seeing is not the initial contact, it's a continuation, which showed it missing. But the umpires obviously saw it, or New York saw it immediately.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that'll bring up Chris Iannetta. So 32 seconds is all it took. Swing and a miss on a fastball at 91 miles per hour.
They in-house did. I thought the ball went off Rich Hill's glove, which would have been a 1-6-3, but they're saying in-house maybe they got caught up in the replay and didn't see it off the glove, but I thought it did. That's what caused the slowing down of the baseball.
So 0-2 the count. Iannetta steps out.
The most important thing, they got the out and correctly, and didn't take that long. Actually, it took longer for the A's to decide to challenge than it actually took for the challenge.
Rich Hill looking for his first 3-up, 3-down inning. Mariners had 6 hits in the first 3 innings. Big curve, got him. Iannetta can't believe it. Hill says thank you very much. 4 strikeouts for Rich Hill, and we remain scoreless after 4.
Service delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AdVat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. The Space Needle, there it is. You ever been there, Kai?
One time, and I ate at the restaurant.
Did you?
And I had
go in circles.
The food was really, really expensive.
And that's because you were rotating.
Exactly.
If you'd say, give me a table that doesn't move, probably been half the price.
They would have said, you're going to have to leave.
You're paying for that view, man.
That's right. And it's a good view.
Yeah.
Seattle, a beautiful town. Chris Davis. The story right now is Rich Hill making pitches when he has to.
And Taijuan Walker throwing a fastball.
He's just throwing fastballs.
Because he can.
Yep, that's right. What happens to Ray is he has enough on it, velocity-wise, where he can pitch a little up in the strike zone, and The A's are just not quite getting to it.
That last pitch registered at 93, still a fastball, but about 4 to 5 miles slower.
And that one, a shot. Cano with the shift on. Cano was playing to the left side of second base, and the ball took a nice hop right up to him. So some notes on Taijuan Walker. He had a terrific month of April where he was 2-0 with a 1.44 ERA. He has not won in the month of May, and his ERA is 5.09.
You'd never know it tonight, though.
You would not, no. His last 2 starts against Tampa Bay, he gave up 4 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings, and against the Orioles, he gave up 3 earned runs in 5 innings. So not really pitching deep into games, but still throwing a lot of pitches. A little bit different story tonight. Cano comes in, scoops it up off the grass, 2 away.
That was a changeup, had Alonso out in front.
So Coco Crisp led off this game with a base hit.
Should have been caught. It should, because Aoki broke back.
And since then, Walker's retired 14 in a row. And you're right, it should have been caught. When Coco hit it, you really thought that it was going to be caught. Good pitch there.
One thing for sure, when Taijuan Walker walks off the mound after the inning, he barely makes the dugout before he has to come back out, because he takes a long time.
That one is belted to center field. Martin hustling back, and Martin makes the catch. What a play by Leonis Martin, and that was worth another look. So Semien hit it right on the nose. Martin tracks it down, and the A's are retired 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Clipper for work, playing all points between. Use Clipper instead of cash to pay for transit. You could probably use Clipper on that, Ray. That's out on Elliott Bay.
Wow. That's big.
Sometimes you got to get to the city of Seattle, and there's different ways to get there. That may be your best option if you live on some of the islands around here.
Just taking that.
There's an island right behind you. See? So Rich Hill back to work, facing Aoki, Taylor, and Martin here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aoki slaps through and just foul. Aoki came up in the 2nd inning with the bases loaded and 1 out, and he tapped one to first. The A's got the out at home.
And a big 4-run inning against Manaya at the Coliseum started with just a very simple chopped ball by Aoki to second base, and that opened up a 4-run inning.
He can do that.
Yes, he can.
Lines that one into the glove of Valencia. 1 away. And that'll bring up Taylor. So 5 in a row retired by Rich Hill. Looking for his 7th win of the year. Final in from Arlington, where the Angels shut out the Rangers 2-0. Tropiano beat Holland.
Well, congratulations to Nick Tropiano, because he did it against somebody other than the A's.
He got some help from Albert Pujols, who hit career home run number 569. So he is now tied with Rafael Palmeiro for 12th in the all-time home run list.
A quick pitch from Rich Hill on that one. Quick wind up, and so he's giving some different looks. A little wind up, and then a real quick pitch. That was in slow motion. It was still fast. Fastball away. Now a little hesitation.
And right by Taylor, and that is strikeout number 5. So 2 away here in the 5th inning. With percentage on fastballs, Rich Hill is first in the major leagues.
Majors too, big time. And it's not like it's 98.
Well, it's called guys looking for the breaking ball.
That's right. And the 90-92 looks like 102.
Martinez got a couple of singles tonight. And an infield hit in the 1st and a single to right field in the 3rd. So he continues his hot hitting.
He was taken all the way. Unfortunately, it was a strike because Martin was taken.
Martin not sold on that pitch.
Well, again, give the umpire credit, because that's a big sweeping breaking ball. It's not where Stephen Will caught it, although considering the angle, might have been there anyway. It's the old Geyer, turn away, but turn the leg into, trying to get hit with a curveball.
Make it look like you're trying to get out of the way, but you're really not. Curve again, tapped toward Coghlan. Coghlan has it. His throw is in time. So 3 up, 3 down inning for Rich Hill. He's retired 7 in a row. 6th inning coming up. No score.
Major League Baseball celebrates all forms of youth baseball and softball, from organized league games to simply playing catch. Come out to the Coliseum on May the 28th, 29th. That's this weekend for MLB's inaugural Play Ball weekend, proudly supported by Chevrolet and Scott's. On Sunday, May the 29th, 10,000 fans will receive bat and ball sets. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets. That should be a fun weekend. Play Ball weekend. Coliseum, Josh Reddick bobblehead on Saturday. And we know they'll be lining up for that. And then get a chance for the Play Ball Sunday.
First pitch swinging. Coughlin, who drives one to center, and it gets Martin back deep left center field. He's got it. 1 out. Coughlin hit it well. He'll return to the dugout.
Got a lot of opposite field power. We have seen that from him this season. 5 home runs, at least a couple, maybe 3 have gone to left field. Somebody's got to get in one of the fastballs of Taijuan Walker and create some offense, because right now he's dominating. 62 pitches for the right-hander.
16 in a row retired, and the first pitch to Smolinski is a strike. So a great pitchers duel tonight. Hill and Walker. So a quick 0-2. Smolinski struck out in the 3rd. Walker had 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. He has not had a strikeout since, but he's been just as effective, and it's helped his pitch count. Reach for, and it's poked to right field and a base hit. So a broken bat. Smolinski will take it. And the A's have a 1-out base runner here in the top of the 6th.
Right, with the slider, back-to-back slider, as a matter of fact, after fastballs for 2 strikes, and then a slider miss, went back to slider, and there's your shift as a soft line drive into right field, right past the second baseman. So I don't know that many hitters with 2 strikes going to try to pull an outside slider.
Now to the top of the order, Coco Crisp.
That's a great note. Got his 1500th hit on his 1500th game.
How about that? So that was the base hit in the first inning. So congratulations to Coco Crisp on a very nice milestone. 1,500 career hits.
300th total base we showed earlier that he got here in April. Needs a triple also, I think, saw in the notes. That another milestone for him. So get a triple now, take it, and do everything here in Seattle. Take the triple, drive in a run.
One and one the count, and the pitch to Coco is hit hard to Cano. He backhands, he drops it, then he flips it with his glove, and they get the out at second. How about that? You can see the ball. It looked like it hit off the heel of his glove, and it just popped out. But he stayed with it. He flipped it with his glove.
Well, it should have been 2, but once he did not get the 2, that's how things are going for the Mariners, because he missed it and just kind of highlighted over to Taylor, who caught it and didn't make the throw to first base.
So fielder's choice. Cano's won a couple of Gold Gloves. And here's Burns. See if Coco tries to steal a bag. He did in the first inning. Broken bat. Little roller up the first base line. Side retired. So hitting a runner left for the A's. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Gutierrez, Cano, and Cruz. No score. It all with Sportsnet Central, brought to you by Hyundai. Tonight at 10:30, it's on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. Brody Bazile and Kevin Kears report from St. Louis. Game 5, Sharks win 6-3. The day after reaction and analysis, I'm not sure how you can analyze it, but we'll do that, of the Draymond kick, which he was not suspended for. A full report from Oklahoma City. Ahmed Freed and Dave Feldman will host as the Warriors and the Thunder get set for Game 4. That should be an interesting game. Draymond Green, again, not suspended, so he will play Game 4. Here's Gutierrez. First pitch, breaking ball, drops in for strike from Hill. So both pitchers are in a groove now. 7 in a row retired by Hill. His pitch count sitting at 71. Another strike. He has really uncanny control with his breaking ball.
I think one of the biggest things the right-handed hitters just quit on it. They see a pitch that's outside and they have a tendency to stop and figure it's going to be a ball. And fortunately for Lance Barrett, the umpires who stay on the pitch don't call it too quickly. And breaks over the plate. And most times, a lot of times, we see hitters that are just frozen.
So not only is it that, but it's also, it's a hard pitch to hit if you do swing at it, because it breaks so much.
And then that's why he's got a couple double play ground balls. So now you swing at it, hit on top of it, and drive the ball on the ground.
So Hill making his 10th start of the year.
And Stephen Vogt has been the catcher for all 10.
All right, also, this is the first time that he's faced a team for the second time.
Yeah.
Fastball is ripped foul.
See, that's the location. Stephen Vogt wanted it outside. Came on the inner part of the plate and probably worked out to the advantage of Hill, because if it had been in the location. Oh, wow.
Oh. There's a lot going on right there with the beer all over the place.
Her look was priceless. I don't think she wanted to have her clothing doused.
No. Well, no, this is not going well right now.
She just said, my brand new sweatshirt. Well, it's got a little cerveza smell.
So going down there right now and asking her how's it going would.
And he's just.
Uh-oh.
He's pouring it up.
That's just not right. Right in front of her, he says, I'm gonna do a refill here. Safe to say he's not concerned about it. Toward right, Smolinski gets over there and he makes the catch. So maybe worth another look.
I didn't do anything. I'm just going for the baseball. And
yeah, but the problem is, Ray, he's going for the baseball with his left hand. That's also the hand he has the beer in.
Look at the look. It's my brand new sweatshirt. My Robinson Cano sweatshirt.
Is anybody looking at me?
Everybody.
Am I a bad guy? Rich Hill may be the guy who makes the play, and he is. Rich Hill says, I got this.
Well,
Get it under control.
Yeah, throw the ball around, Danny. I got it. And you like to see that, because really Stephen Vogt and Valencia had a long way to go, and Rich Hill said, I'm an athlete. I can do it. And then he apologizes to Valencia. Said, I'm sorry.
Hands him the ball. Here, you throw it around.
Throw it around. And you know, he runs all that way, and nobody said, you know, you're that kind of an athlete. You don't need to have anybody walk over and try to let you catch your breath.
Let's go. Get ready.
Yeah. But I hope he takes a little time to catch his breath, because he's got a big hitter coming up where make one mistake to the boomstick. Nelly Cruz. It's always a danger.
Cruz with that open stance, and then he closes up right when the ball comes. Skies this one toward Burns. Burns over. He's got it. And another good inning for Rich Hill. He has now retired 10 in a row. The saga continues down the third base line.
The Mariner fan. If you want to sit in the best suite in the Coliseum, check out the A's President Suite located right above the first base bag. The suite includes an extensive high-end food package, beer and wine, VIP parking, and much, much more. Availability is limited for this popular experience, so book your President Suite today, right now, by calling 510-638-GO-A's or by visiting athletics.com/president.
It's a pitcher's duel, folks. No score, top of the 7th.
You look at the pitch count for Taijuan Walker, the last 3. You mentioned his strikeouts, the first 3. But I got him for 8, 9, and 9 the last 3. So he's been very efficient.
He's better off without the strikeouts.
Yep.
Off-speed pitch to start Vogt out, and he misses outside. Vogt, Valencia, Davis here in the 7th inning. A's with 2 hits. For Walker, no walks and 5 strikeouts. Taijuan Walker, 6'4", 235-pounder. Ray, we chuckled about Walker when he walks off the mound at the end of the inning. He walks extremely slow.
Yeah.
And he looks like Jim Brown walking back to the huddle.
That's right. Yeah.
You're not sure if Walker's going to make it to the dugout. And he's just conserving energy.
If he ever becomes a pitching coach, he'll never make it in 30 seconds.
No.
He won't even make it to the mound in 30.
If the clock was on him, he would be in trouble. Missed outside, now 3-1. Vogt has popped to second and fly to center, 0 for 2. Vogt to right, and that baby's gone, and the A's lead 1-0.
And the first 3-ball count for Taijuan Walker tonight. He goes to 3-1, and Stephen Vogt, as they go inside, he throws a fastball, and that's the difference in the count, because Stephen Vogt able to drive the ball to right field, and Tumwater, Washington, everybody from Tumwater loves it. And so do the A's fans across the country. Fastball and hit hard.
Valencia, a line drive, Cano grabs it. Cano playing right up the middle. Valencia just standing there. Can't believe it. He had a line drive right up the middle. Cano was there.
You know,
one away.
Danny Valencia just looked like it's his first shift he's ever seen in his life.
They've been doing this for a couple years now.
But I mean, watch this. I mean, it's a line drive. Robinson Cano to the third base side of second. It's caught, and he's gone, I mean, I could understand the frustration, but if
it's like the Joe West stare down. So 1 out in the top of the 7th. Chris Davis with a strikeout and a ground out.
Yeah, David Ortiz would do that every game because they put a second baseman in shallow right field and they throw him out consistently.
To Cano again. Cano probably feels like he's playing shortstop. So it goes 4-3. So 2 away, and here's Alonso. Stephen Vogt with a home run leading in the 7th inning off. The A's with a 1-0 lead. So after having a 3 RBI game yesterday, a home run tonight. Here comes Aoki. Aoki grabs it, tumbles, makes the catch, side retired, but the A's are on the board thanks to that man, Stephen Vogt. For Vogt, his 4th home run of the year. So the A's now head to the bottom of the 7th inning with a 1-0 lead.
A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
1-0 the A's lead thanks to Stephen Vogt's home run in the top of this inning. So bottom of the 7th. Shutdown opportunity for Rich Hill. It'll be Lee, Seager, and Iannetta. So the first pitch to Lee is a bit high, 1-0. Daeho Lee has singled and hit a fly ball to right field. There's that breaking ball, and it's a strike. If the umpire's going to give you that pitch, and it may be coming around the plate, but he's calling it a strike, and it's coming around the plate. And you got to keep throwing it.
Yeah, you have to do it, and there it is again. But you know, Kite, too, and we talk about how pitchers, they want to find out who's going to be behind the plate because certain umpires have certain strike zones. I mean, everybody's different, and that's why you cannot computerize it.
Because just got a piece of that one.
You know, because everybody is different. But again, credit to Lance Barrett, whether they're coming around the plate, but he is not calling them too quickly, and that's probably the biggest plus for him tonight. And Stephen Vogt, I've talked to Stephen. He said, I tell every umpire, don't quit on the curveball from Rich Hill. Fastball away.
And Lee had a pretty good swing at it. It kind of crept toward the middle of the plate a little bit.
Listen, he doesn't cut anything on his swing down when he gets 2 strikes. Lift the leg and put all the body behind it. Eats all that clubhouse food. He may be bigger by the end of the season because they got a lot of food in the clubhouse.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball, and that is strikeout number 6. So the 2 starts in Seattle this year. On April 9th, 6 innings, a run on 5 hits. Tonight, 6 1/3, no runs. Remember, he escaped that bases loaded, nobody out jam in the second inning, and then had a big double play in the 3rd inning. And he has just rolled along since then. First pitch strike to Seager.
Seager got the big breaking balls on last at bat. Complained about those, so he nails a first pitch fastball outside corner.
Takes the breaking ball low. Seager has singled and grounded to short. When I say grounded to short, I mean he grounded to Simeon, who was playing right behind second base. That's where he is right now as well. Tap to Hill off the end of the bat. Hill will underhand to first, 2 outs. Twelve in a row retired now by Rich Hill.
Started against Seattle through 99 pitches in 6 innings. That's his 2nd start, of course, after the opening day, his first opener when we found out at 12:30. But since then, his tops 112 pitches at Tampa Bay against the Rays in St. Pete.
First pitch to Iannetta. Iannetta takes a rip at it.
And I think that says it all right there. Fastball at 91, yet Iannetta looking for a lot more. And the 91 probably seemed a lot harder because of the curveballs, and he hit it off the end of the bat.
Center field, Burns going back. He'll have room. Turns around, he's under it. He's got it. 13 in a row retired by Rich Hill. 8th inning coming up. 1-0 A's.
Weekend. How about you climb the right field wall at the Coliseum with a Josh Reddick bobblehead with spinning action presented by Comerica Bank. That's going to be on Saturday, May the 28th. That big weekend coming up this weekend. 15,000 fans will walk away with a replica of one of the Gold Glover's signature catches. Get the tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. They always come out with unique bobbleheads. There's one right there. Spinning action. Josh Reddick bobblehead. And good news about Reddick today. So Josh will be there on his bobblehead day. Waving. signing.
Just being an all-around good guy.
Just being a good guy. And probably ecstatic with the news of no surgery necessary.
Yeah, it sounded like if surgery was necessary, that's going to just make the stay on the disabled list a little bit longer. One and one to Marcus Semien, who has struck out and hit a long fly ball to center field that Jonas Martin made a very nice running catch on, heading toward the wall. 1 and 2. Coghlan to follow, and then Smolinski. Top of the 8th, 1-0 A's. Taylor has it. Taylor fires, and he sails over everybody into the seats, and that'll be an error. And Semien will be at second base.
Just a bit high, but a good break for the A's to try to add on to their already 1-0 lead. Routine ground ball, and Taylor charging it, plenty of time, and then just airmailed. Not only did it have a chance to carry him off the wall, sidewall, and Dale Lee said, I'm not even going to jump, and it went into the stands.
So 25th error of the year for the Mariners. They're 10th in the league in team fielding. Remember, in the offseason, here's the new general manager, Jerry Dipoto. One of the things that he came out and said, he said, we need to be a better defensive team.
Yeah.
And I think they are this year. Martin is very good in center field. We've seen Marte, the young shortstop. He's pretty darn good there.
I had Kendall Graven on the A's warm-up on the radio side. There's Jerry Dipoto, his new general manager. But even he said a much improved defense for the Athletics. And he said, I want the sinker to work to get ground ball outs, quick outs, and have the defense work on the infield. Scott Service, who had been with the Angels under Jerry Dipoto, first-year manager for the Mariners.
A little bit outside. Coghlan, 1-1 the count.
You know, Kip, right here, and we've talked about it. Seager playing on the bag, huge hole on the left side. And while you could say runner at second, nobody out, hit the ball to the right side, why not hit a base hit to left field if they're going to pitch away? And it looks like that's what they're going to do. And Seager has to guard or play close enough to third. And Coghlan has the power to go to the opposite field. And here, all he has to do is just drive a ball into the hole at shortstop. Right here, they're giving a lot of credit to the pitcher, Taijuan Walker, to make his pitches, and depending on Coghlan to hit the ball into the shift on the right side. If he does that, should be able to advance a runner. Hits the ball to shortstop side, might score it.
Hits it high and foul down the left field line, so Walker keeping the ball away from him. Coghlan a strikeout, fly ball to center field. So the only run in the game, Stephen Vogt's home run leading off the 7th inning. An insurance run would be huge. Struck him out. Easy 95. And that's the 6th strikeout for Walker, his first since the 3rd inning.
Well, he did stay away, and Chris Coghlan just no contact, and that's too bad. So any contact at all could have advanced Marcus Semien. And that is a gift at second base.
So now Smolinski will try to get Semien home. Smolinski has a strikeout and a single. I mentioned the Angels beat the Rangers 2-0. Astros have the night off. They will host the Baltimore Orioles Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Astros sitting on a 4-game losing streak. So they're going to sit at home, think about that losing streak, and get back to work tomorrow against a good Orioles team. Orioles have the best record in the American League, 26-16. 2-0 pitch and a fastball to hit. Smolinski put a good swing on it, fouled it straight back. Watch this spot. That's one to hit.
Here, talk about Dale Lee and his approach where he lifts the leg and just generates a lot of body and bat speed, and 2-0 fastball count is a good pitch to do exactly that.
Pop up should reach the seats. It will, well behind the Mariners dugout. Not a big crowd tonight, 16,370. So far this year averaging a little over 27,000 a game. If they keep playing the way they're playing, the place will start to fill up.
Yeah, well, especially towards the end of the year.
Pitch number 95 coming up from Walker, and it's a fastball just outside. It's been a pitcher strike zone tonight by Lance Barrett, but that one was just a little bit too far off the plate. You know, Nuno. He waits, fouls it to the screen. So now a full count with Crisp in the on-deck circle.
1-2 count his last at bat as Coco waits, but Smolensky got back-to-back sliders, one of them to right field for a base hit. This at bat, all fastballs from Walker. And you'd have to think he's going to stay with the same pitch.
There's a shot, base hit left center field. That will get Simeon home. Smolensky comes through, and it's 2-0 Athletics.
And that's how you approach a hitter or a pitcher who's throwing fastballs. And I think there they've said, let's rather pitch to Smolensky than Coco Crisp. So here comes a fastball. Smolensky had a chance to see enough of them and just crushed one to left center past the shift. So the air hurts. The A's take advantage of it. As diving for the ball was Taylor. He's the one that made the air to put Simeon in second. And Smolensky with a great hit drives him in. Well, you stay all fastballs. Every hitter is going to say, you're going to stay with it. I'll just look for it. Gear up a little bit more. And each one that he saw got a better swing and able to pull it into left center.
So still only one out, and now Coco Crisp will step up. Coco's 1 for 3. He singled back in the first inning and stole the bag. He taps this one toward Taylor, who drops it, throws to first, throws that one away. It goes into the seats, and it's another error by the young shortstop. Off the bat, you're thinking it may be a double play, and it's nothing for the Mariners. And he just juggled it, and then he just fired it to first, and it wasn't close.
You know, when he juggled it right there, if he'd taken his time, he hurriedly threw the ball to first. And the worst thing you can do is speed it up. He had it clank off his glove. He closed it too quickly, knew there was an error there. And is that 2 errors? 2 errors on the same play. Should have been 2 errors, right, on the same play? Because he bobbled the ball, should have been an out, and then he threw it away.
So we'll wait on that. We know it's 1 error for sure. And you know what, Ray, watching that replay, if you watch his feet, it looks like he was going to try to go to second base.
Yeah, himself. Exactly.
And I think that may have screwed him up a little bit. Because you could tell his foot kind of turned like, I'm going to try to catch it and beat the runner to second base.
Yeah, I think you're right. And here they're walking Burns to get to a vote, and they're probably going to bring the lefty Nuno in. Because I don't think you're going to walk Billy Burns to pitch the vote. We'll see what they're going to do. But really, it should have been an error on fielding, because that should have been an out. And then when he bobbled that to allow Coco, and then allowed the runner to get to third. So that's why there should have been 2 on the play.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, they're going to go to the left-hander.
So Service is coming out. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. The A's with a 2-0 lead, looking for more.
family pet can represent the A's at mealtime. On Memorial Day, Monday, May the 30th, 15,000 fans will receive an A's player pet bowl featuring Stella Doolittle alongside Baxter and Murray Reddick. The Spell Pet Bowl will have the rest of the neighborhood pack howling with envy. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. I just enjoy the howling of the dogs in the background. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just something that, listen to it. And Taijuan Walker's howling right now because he's wondering if my defense was a little bit better. I gave up a home run to Stephen Vogt, but really this is all on his defense in this inning because he did a good job to get the ground balls, but they have not been able to turn them.
So Vidal Nuno comes in, 1 out, bases loaded, Vogt the hitter. And here's the first pitch to Vogt, and a little slider in for a strike. Can't hardly blame him.
No. No.
And that one hit him. Just got a little jersey, and Vogt will take it. He's going to pick up an RBI, and it's 3-0 A's. So Stephen Vogt will slowly jog to first.
He probably was hurt more hitting the ground with his knees than he was with this ball that grazed his uniform. And it just barely did. But going down on both knees, trying to brace himself with his hands, but boy, your feet come out from under you, go straight down, watch both knees just bang into the ground. But they'll take it.
And here comes Scott Service. So Vogt going to walk it off. And Scott Service is going to make a change. So Stephen Vogt gets his second RBI in the game. And we'll have a new pitcher. 3-0 now, Athletics lead. They got a chance for more here in the top of the 8th. Make sure you join us tomorrow. It'll be game 2 of this 3-game series. Kendall Graveman and Nathan Carnes is your matchup. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. Home of A's baseball is CSN, so that'll be tomorrow night. Graveman and Carnes. Nathan Carnes has done a pretty good job for the Mariners. Right here, it's Joel Peralta. So Nuno faces one batter, hits Vogt, and the A's still have the bases loaded. Still only 1 out, and now Valencia will step in. Now Valencia tonight has bounced back to the pitcher, hit a fly ball to right field, and lined out to Robinson Cano. So RBIs out there for Danny Valencia.
Well, he's had some base loading opportunities over the weekend against New York. And tonight, once again, against the veteran Peralta, who's got a pretty good assortment of pitches, including that one.
That one is hooked toward left, and it's going to get by Aoki. Crisp will score. Burns will score. Vogt to third. He'll stop there. Valencia with a 2-run double, 5-0. The A's lead. Valencia didn't wait around.
Got the breaking ball, actually maybe a split off speed and out in front. Seemed like he got to second base and told Robinson Cano, can't shift me on that one. Aoki probably misplayed it, thought he had a chance to catch the ball instead of taking it on one hop. Maybe just one run would have scored, but once he got past him, it was going to be a 2-run double, which was a big one.
So give Valencia RBIs 16 and 17, and here's Davis. Infield comes in. Davis back to the screen, 0-1. So 4 runs in this inning, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but none of them are going to be earned.
No, they're not. E6 a strikeout, a base hit, and E6 again. And still the official score I don't think is correct, because that you don't allow a runner to go to third and not give 2 errors on the plate. But that's the way it is, and that's the way they're doing it, but still unearned with all the runs.
Davis went around, says home plate umpire Lance Barrett.
And really, there's only been 2 hits in the inning. That's the check swing, definitely went through too far. Rich Hill, the recipient, done a great job through 7 innings, and that's a typical pitcher. He said, let's get some more. He's clapping, let's go. Why not?
And Davis, shallow center, coming in as Martin. He's got it. Vogt will bluff but stay. Looked like that ball had some knuckle action on it.
Yeah.
He have hit that right off the end of the bat.
But not deep enough, as we know. Jonas Martin can throw. He can track the balls as he did on the ball to center field, but he can definitely throw.
So 2 away, and the 9th man to bat in the inning will step up. It's Yonder Alonso. Alonso is 0 for 3. A couple of ground outs and a fly ball to left field. 4 runs in for the A's. First pitch from Peralta is up and away. So all 5 of those runs charged to Walker, but again, only 1 earned. Off speed pitch and a good one for a strike. 1-1 to count. 79 miles per hour.
On a good curveball, Peralta, the veteran, he's been around. He knows how to pitch, and the fastball, the curve, and the split. That was the curve that primarily a fastball pitcher, as we saw from Taijuan Walker tonight. Although he's not happy tonight with the results so far, but he has to be happy with his fastball command in the early part of the game.
Blocked nicely by Iannetta.
He's known as one of the best at framing pitches and gets a lot of high marks on that one with blocking the ball. And boy, like Alonso is going to touch the ball with his bat, which is not a good idea. Considering the ball is live.
Illegal?
It's a live ball, blocking the ball as he did, almost as if he thought he had fouled it and was going to hit the ball back to the catcher.
Outside now, 3-1 with Vogt at third and Valencia at second. ball again, and it's 3-2. Oh, he'll throw something off speed on 3-1.
Oh yeah,
he'll throw it again. I don't know if it's a breaking ball. Maybe like a.
It's a curve and a split. So he's got the two. He throws a split finger fastball, and so really he knows that his catcher Inez is a veteran, can block them. So first base is open. You have the right hand in the on deck circle, and he may be shaking to something off speed right now. The second sign, it's got to be the split because he had to wiggle the fingers, but keeps going through the signs.
And a good swing by Alonso. It was a fastball at 91, kind of up and out over the plate. Alonso will step back in there. Think a little bit about what would Peralta throw me on 3-2 this time.
Well, you can actually sit back and wait for an off speed, get a fastball hit it to left field,
or foul it back. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, you got the shift to the right side, so a lot of options for a hitter to think about what a pitcher's going to do, especially with the first base open. Split.
And he did. It was a split. Alonso with a good take, and the bases are loaded. He's batted around.
But really, that's smart pitching and excellent hitting by Alonso to recognize there that it's out of the strike zone. And you see the tumbling effect on the pitch. That's a splitter. If it starts low, it goes low. As the old saying goes, you see it low, let it go.
Let it go. If you see it high,
let it fly. Well, this is great for the A's to be able to get very little actual hits, but the production, the runs have been tremendous. It all started with an error with Marcus Semien, a routine ground ball to short, as he's hitting again now.
And the fastball just missed. Very close pitch. And the A's have kind of breaking it open here. When you're a hitter and you got RBIs out there. And swing and miss. 1-1 the count.
Not surprised, another off-speed pitch after a fastball miss. So pitching backwards, throwing the off-speed pitches in a fastball count.
So Vogt still at third. Valencia and Alonso. Fastball, and Marcus fouls it. Rolls back behind home plate. So now Marcus behind in the count 1-2. A lot of shifts tonight by the Mariners. Robinson Cano has spent a good portion of the game playing right behind second base. Certainly missed on a high fastball. So the inning comes to an end. But the A's score 4 times in the top of the 8th. So it's now 5-0 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
The telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It was a pitcher's duel, but the A's got the run in the 7th on Vogt's home run and then 4 in the 8th. So now 5-0 behind Rich Hill, who has been terrific. 7 innings so far of shutout baseball, 90 pitches, and he has retired 13 consecutive hitters. New second baseman is Tyler Ladendorf. So Coughlin out. And Aoki the hitter. Aoki facing Hill for the 3rd time. And that one right back to Hill, who makes a nice play. Underhands to first. 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
How about this, Kai? First starting pitcher to pitch more than 7 innings. Last Major League Baseball team to do so this season, the Athletics, of 83 straight games. I'm not doing that. So congratulations to Rich Hill, who would have thought spring training came in as a starter, and longest in Athletics history, 83 straight games. So Rich Hill 1 out in the 8th inning, something the A's have not done all season.
Taylor loops one to shallow center, and it'll fall. Ladendorf made a heck of an effort. Well, Chris Taylor, after striking out in his first 2 at-bats, bloops a single here with 1 out in the 8th inning.
It's like, I'm not going to get to 2 strikes. I'm going to swing early. And Billy Burns coming after it. Nice effort by Ladendorf, who looked to see where Burns was, and that's why he gave the effort he did.
So he knew that Burns was probably not going to get there. Right. So now to the top of the order, Leonis Martin. Martin 2 for 3, 2 singles and a ground out. And he bunts it foul. Martin, I mean, he'll show bunt 3-4 times a game. He's a terrific bunter.
You know, we've talked about Billy Burns, the great drag bunt he had on Saturday, and to load the bases against Tanaka. And something that Billy Burns could do more, and perhaps we will see that. He's still real young in just his 2nd year of Major League Baseball, so he's going to be learning a lot and getting better and better.
Martin with the big swing, and it's 0-2. Rich Hill has 6 strikeouts so far. That swing by Martin is probably not what he wants. Trying to hit a 2-run homer. Matson starts to throw. This one's popped up.
Rich Hill said, I'm going to take it again.
Instead, Alonso says, no, you're not. I'm going to
do it. But Rich was ready.
He's feeling good.
He was ready.
He's spunky tonight.
Oh, hey, why not? The way he's been pitching, but watch Rich Hill. I got it. Let me have it. Lonzo says, get out of the way. Enough of that. I'm going to take it myself. And, you know, you want to see a fielder do it, but Rich Hill saying, I'll take it if I have to. And then he points to Lonzo. What a classic. That's beautiful.
Hey, you're pitching the way he hit.
Oh, yeah,
feel
absolutely.
Like so 2 away, and here's Gutierrez. Gutierrez takes just a touch inside.
You know, Matson, with the A's losing 4 straight to the Yankees, Matson, while he was up in the bullpen, he didn't get a chance to come in the game. So, I mean, there's just not a save situation for him to come in. And while Rich Hill is pitching unbelievably, we do not know what the skipper is going to be doing for the 9th inning. But right now, Rich Hill is dealing. 5 hits, or make it 7 hits for the Mariners, but 6 of those came in the first 3 innings. The next 4, nothing. A 1-out bloop base hit by Taylor in this inning.
So sitting on 98. Behind in the count to Gutierrez. And Gutierrez, a line drive and a base hit. Taylor will head to 3rd. So 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. And Gutierrez gets his first hit.
Well, a 5-run lead, maybe a different situation with a fastball to Gutierrez. He has the lead, so he grooved it in with a fastball, got the base hit. Trying to get the lefty Cano out. Only needs one out, doesn't need a double play. He has 2 of those already tonight. And you know the way Rich Hill is pitching, he can call Stephen Vogt Steve anytime he wants to. He usually says he and Steve Vogt are on the same page.
It's funny, Stephen Vogt jogging back to the dugout, and you could see Bob Melvin ask Stephen Vogt, is he okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly a catcher, a manager, catcher behind the plate. Catcher knows the pitcher.
So here's Cano. First pitch is a fastball right there, first strike. Robinson Cano is 1 for 3. He's singled into third. Cruz would be next. You don't want to see him in this inning. Hill drops down from the side with the fastball, but it's outside.
And after he finished, he went over almost like he was going to cover the area between first and second with second baseman Ladendorf near second base. Huge hole on the right side. And that's, of course, with Ladendorf at right field. Simeon the second with a shift. Lost side of Ladendorf there. I forgot. Shift in the outfield.
Yeah, those shifts, you'll lose guys, Rafe.
Yeah, I know. You got to be careful.
I've done it many times.
Well, with Cano's got speed. And that's why I was a little surprised at Ladendorf playing on the grass, because the ball is hit to him. He better hurry, because Cano, when he wants to, can run.
So pitch number 103 coming up. Not just yet. Most pitches for Hill in a game. 112. It was 2 starts ago. Cano got a breaking ball. Went down to get it. Fouls it off the
that time
facing above the dugout.
Stephen Vogt called the slider, and then Rich Hill wanted to throw the curveball. So the 2 pitches, the slider and the curveball have been the dominant pitches by Hill. Sneaky fastball, which would be a simple one. Occasionally change up, mostly those sliders and curves and fastballs. Yeah, still, let's go talk about it. I want to keep this shutout intact. And what do you think? Stephen Vogt is having fun. He loves to catch. He loves to do his job with the pitchers, and by doing so, he ends up getting a big home run to give the A's their first run tonight. But when in doubt, go out and talk to the pitchers, see if they're on the same page. Give a sign for the infielders or not.
And Cano goes after that breaking ball, rolls it foul.
Tough man to strike out.
Yep.
He will somehow find a way and shorten up with a couple of strikes.
So Rich Hill goes for a little walk back behind the mound. I'm sure he realizes this is probably his last hitter, whatever happens.
Fastball away.
And he missed outside, so a full count. The runner at first is Gutierrez. He will take off on the pitch. Taylor is the runner at third.
Now, Kipe, I've got this, the first 3-2 count tonight. It seems that every 3-2 count that Rich Hill has been a curveball. Lefty might change. Matter of fact, this is the first 3-ball count he's had. But 5 times against the Astros, he threw curveballs. I think he's going to do it again.
And he did, and it's line foul. Now that one just hung up there, and Cano really had a good look at it.
But talk about efficiency tonight, and that really, if the curveball, he wanted to throw for a strike in the event Cano didn't swing. Rich saying, oh, so close, but let's see if he drops down and throws another one more to the side or a slider, something. But he's just been so consistent throwing the curveball. Great confidence in the pitch to throw it 3-2, which usually a hitter's going to be sitting fastball. It's going to the slider. 2 curve, 3 a slider. Stephen Vogt 3. Rich Hill went the stretch.
Here we go. 3-2. Runner goes. And the ball's popped up. He dropped down a little bit. Alonso's under it. He's got it. And the Mariners strand a pair. So 9th inning coming up. Heck of a job by Rich Hill. And the A's leading 5-0. CSNCalifornia.com. Log on each week as our insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. The A's Insider Podcast with Super Joe Stiglitz. It's on CSNCalifornia.com. Also available on iTunes. That's the main entrance of Safeco Field, right behind home plate. Those two did a good job today. Rich Hill was in some trouble early in the game, but was able to keep the Mariners off the board, and then he settled in. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert, Steve Johnson, comes in. Johnson started the year AAA Tacoma, but on the 3rd of May was called up to the big leagues. He's been in the big leagues before with the Baltimore Orioles. He's facing Tyler Ladendorf, who's batting for the first time. Smolinski to follow, and then Crisp here in the 9th inning. Outside corner strike, so 1-2. So 4th pitcher of the night for the Mariners. Strike 3 call at the knees. One away here in the 9th.
Now back-to-back fastballs, pretty good pitches, and Landorf couldn't pull the trigger, especially that one. Just kept running in, kept in the strike zone. Johnson really only blemish against the A's, giving up a home run to Chris Davis. But one of the biggest hits tonight for the A's, Jake Smolinski, with a big base hit on a 3-2 fastball to drive in the A's second run. Because they Walker had the error, put Simmons in second, but then struck out Coghlan. But then Smolinski got the big hit, and all good things happened for the A's after that.
A couple of hits tonight for Smolinski. That one for strike 1-1. He also struck out 2 for 3. With Reddick going to be out for a while, Smolinski may get a chance to play a fair amount. I mean, tonight, start against a right-hander.
That's right. Now, actually hit very well against the righties last year when he was called up. Started with the Rangers. They let him go. The A's picked him up. Made his debut against the Athletics, hitting a home run. He's familiar with this club. And
the Mariners will send Carnes to the mound tomorrow. He's a right-hander, and Iwakuma on Wednesday, and he's a right-hander.
Right. And the only other option, if Davis is tough for him to play, he'll probably DH. And the only thing A's could do is put Burns in right and Davis on left, somebody else DH. But Coco's playing. And you got a couple of lefties, switch hitters in Burns and Crisp.
Daeho Lee comes down the line into foul territory, 2 outs. So now Coco Crisp will hit for the 5th time. A's with 5 hits, the Mariners with 8, but a couple of costly errors by the Mariners, both by Chris Taylor, and open the door for the 4-run top of the 8th inning. He knows it.
Well, it didn't help that his manager, Scott Service, said it's not a guarantee that Taylor's going to play shortstop every day. That's not something that you see as a shortstop replacing Marte, who was put on the disabled list.
Well,
and so
Marte's running all over making plays.
Exactly. And so Taylor comes in, maybe trying to do a little bit too much tonight and makes 2 costly errors. I mean, you look at it. You look at Matson probably coming in to pitch the 9th inning. Look at this game without the 2 errors, and could be 3 in the 8th inning. It could be a 1-0 game, and that's a whole different game for the A's. Maybe even Rich Hill doesn't go out for the 8th inning.
Coco lines it foul, heads up down there. Is that our guy again? It's down in his area, but everybody's okay. That one was coming in hot. Oh, 2 pitch. And that's going to be a base hit. Coco waited and waited. It was a big curveball. And he found a hole. Wait. Boom.
I think Iannetta was crossed up. Watch Iannetta go up and then come down. How can you crossed up without a runner at second base? It's always amazing to me, but Iannetta looked like he was going up to catch a pitch that he thought was maybe going to be a fastball, but came down with the breaking pitch. But you know, I think there are times that the shift, while it's good, and I really can't say negative things about it, but situations. You get 2 strikes on a hitter, it changes everything in his thought process. And just like Coco, there's no reason to think he's going to try to pull a pitch. And so you keep the shift to the right side, you open up the left side, you throw him a curveball, thinking he's going to pull, and he shortens up, he's going to go opposite field. But situations probably dictate shifts more than anything.
I think that's one of the things you and I have talked about, situations and the hitter. What is the hitter thinking?
Exactly. Yeah.
But
I think they say, okay, shift, but then depending on whether it's an 0-2 or whatever.
How about that?
Yeah.
It just rolled down the third base line for a hit. It was nothing more than a slow roller. And Billy Burns says, thank you. It's my first hit tonight.
That's
I'm
right.
1 for 4.
And he just slaps the ball. Pitch is almost by him. Look where Seager's playing. And you could say, just like with Beltran in Oakland with the Yankees, all he hit down the line would have been a double anyway. But if Seager's closer to the bag with his Gold Glove ability, he might have at least had a diving effort. But like you said, Billy Burns will take it.
So Vogt, who's already got a couple of RBIs tonight, a chance for another one. So 3 RBIs yesterday, couple RBIs tonight. So that will have Stephen Vogt feeling a little bit better. I'm sure he feels like he has not done enough offensively. He does a lot behind the plate.
Well, this is what Stephen Vogt did with a 3-1 fastball. Taijuan Walker, he knew it was gone. And Stephen Vogt with the 4th home run, and like you said, 3 RBI yesterday, and the home run and a hit batter tonight, and looking for more of this at bat.
Fastball runs away. Now 3-0. I think there's some intangibles with Stephen Vogt that do not show up on the stat sheet.
Probably the biggest thing for Stephen Vogt was the fact that last year, coming off surgery in his foot, he had a steel plate in his right foot. And that alone is going to be an adjustment, doing everything, running, swinging the bat, catching, pushing off the foot to throw, to the point that he had changed his throwing, had bone chips taken out of his elbow, and admitted this spring, I got to learn to throw all over again because the plate in the foot, he had to adjust his arm angle. So coming back this year, and granted just May 23rd, and while he's frustrated with himself for not maybe driving in runs like he did last year, but this is a whole different year, and the adjustments maybe for his body. He feels healthy,
sure, but
it's a different healthy because he wasn't that way last year.
So the bases are loaded. Valencia likes that. Big slow curve is low. Valencia had a 2-run double in the 8th inning. He's 1 for 4. Chris, Burns, and Vogt are your runners. So really, Ray, a lot of speed on the bases.
Yep.
With
Steve.
Chris, Burns, and Vogt.
Yeah, well, don't go to sleep on Vogt speed for sure.
Never.
Nice backhand snag by Iannetta. Won't say block because he backhanded caught it.
So Valencia sitting on the 2-0 pitch in. He may let her go. No, good take. 3-0. He was ready to take a rip at it if it was close.
0-2 to Chris, base hit. 0-2 to Burns, base hit. 3 consecutive out of the strike zone. Walk to Vogt, and this is the 4th in a row. See if he's swinging 3-0.
Strike call, now 3-1.
Thought it was a ball, but that's a pitch that was called in his first at bat.
So now 3-1. And hit a rip there. That's the pitch he's been looking for. A fastball right out over the plate. And he fouled it straight back. That's a good swing here.
That's the one you step out and say, how did I miss it?
Ryan Dull's been throwing as well. Matson's ready. 3-2 pitches, rolled foul toward the far end of the A's dugout.
Well, it was here, those fans who lean over the rail watching the relievers warm up yelled at Ryan Dull, said, your hat doesn't even fit you. And Scott Emerson said, yeah, but his wallet's bigger than yours. And the kid just said, okay, you're right, and he walked away. So there's Dull warming up again. He's got his sidekick, Scott Emerson, standing right next to him.
High in the air to left field, but playable. Aoki goes back. Aoki's there. 3 out. So the A's leave them loaded and get a couple hits and a walk. Bottom of the 9th coming up. It's the A's 5 and the Mariners nothing.
First starting pitcher, 83 consecutive games to pitch into the 8th inning. He got through 8. He mixed his fastball with his curveball, with his sliders, the big looping curveball there to strike out Iannetta. Got Taylor a couple of times, big breaking ball to Lee, and Rich Hill, eight solid innings, 107 pitches for the left-hander. And if Sean Manaea is smart, he's listening to every word that is said by Rich Hill right now. You got the veteran who became a starter in the offseason or last year, and Manaea saying, I'm listening to every word you're saying, and he should.
And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Ryan Matson comes in. He's got a 5-0 lead, so obviously not a save situation. And a terrific performance tonight by Rich Hill. 0-1 to Nelson Cruz. A little high. No walks and 6 strikeouts for his left-hander Rich Hill. Cruz tonight singled, struck out, and hit a fly ball to center field.
107, 81 strikes.
That's nice. No wonder there's
26 balls. Wow.
Broken bat. That's a fair ball, and it's going to scoop past Alonso down the right field line. Cruz will stop at first. Nelson Cruz is 2 for 4.
Well, you're right. Broken bat. See the splinters and off the line just enough. Alonso decided against diving for the ball, which he wouldn't have been able to throw out Cruz anyway.
So that's hit number 9 for the Mariners, and here's Lee, Dae-Ho Lee. Lee has singled, hit a fly ball to right field, and he has struck out. There's Adam Lind is the other Mariners first baseman. He's left-handed hitter. Alonso has it, spins out at second, back to first, double play.
That's a smart play right there, because you saw what ball was hit so hard. Nelson Cruz stopped, because if it had gone to first, instead Alonso, by going to second, it forces Cruz and then right back. So 3-6-3, perfectly turned by Alonso. Can't fool the man. And that's an easy double play, and Lee hit it hard but turned it into a double play. What a night for Yonder Alonso.
So 2 away, and here is Seager. First pitch, shoots it foul, left side. Seager's 1 for 3. So the A's trying to break their 4-game losing streak. Put that weekend against the Yankees behind them. And now it's 0-2. So Matson working quickly. As we like to say, trying to have a nice, clean.
That's right. That's the important.
9th inning, whatever the score may be. Matson's ready. 0-2. Another foul left side. Well, Seager says, I don't want this game to end just yet. Rich Hill, he's going to hang around and watch the final out. Fastball sinking down and away. Second place Rangers lost tonight to the Angels. On the ground, Alonso has it. He'll take it himself. And that's the ball game. So the A's get the shutout behind a terrific performance by Rich Hill. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes. 16,370 was the attendance, and Rich Hill is your winning pitcher. He is now 7-3. Taijuan Walker takes the loss. He is 2-4. So the losing streak is over, and the A's win Game 1 in shutout fashion, 5-0. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Henry Wolford and Carney Lansford starts